Make it stop. uh, it's time. Time for the Burning River Sportscast. Sorry, I had a technical difficulty there.
We perform like the Browns out here.
Welcome into a very special live edition of the Burning River Sportscast. Steelers week, Steelers 23, Browns 9.
Feels real bad.
Things are going good.
Yeah,
What's
things
up,
are going
Ronnie
great.
Jams?
How you doing? I've had better Sundays,
Yeah, way better Sundays.
After that, though, I'll tell you this. We went and took family fall photos that we'll use for our Christmas cards. Went out to dinner. It was real nice. It was way better than watching the Browns. I should have just done that all day.
My wife had to leave to go to a kid's birthday party about midway through the game. And
so there was more swearing than usual.
She doesn't really follow anything that's going on. And when she looked up when she was leaving, she said, "Oh, it's Steelers week. This is going to be a worse Sunday than usual." Bye.
Yeah, listen. Before we get into things, you can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Castro, Good Pods, where we are a #1 ranked football podcast, and so many more. While you're at it, please leave us a review on your preferred podcast app of choice. It really helps us grow and get seen. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, the only place that you can find a video podcast. And check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Our handle for all those socials at Burning River Sportscast. And we are on X as well with the handle at Burning River Pod. While you're at it, check out our merch, www.thetappinmedia.com/shop. All kinds of stuff in there. Before you get started, quick shout out to some of our sponsors. Towpat Distillery. Towpat Distillery, an award-winning craft distillery located in Akron, Ohio. Towpat Distillery focuses on high-quality spirits carefully made in small batches. Towpat Distillery, handcrafted, award-winning, small batch, local, and family-owned. You see what I did there?
Yeah, very nice.
And then Primetime Sports and Framing with locations in Hartville, Streetsboro, Belden Village, Great Northern, and Kent. They are easily accessible wherever you are in Northeast Ohio. With the best selection in autographed collectibles and a world-class framing operation, they are your go-to for officially licensed memorabilia. Primetime Sports and Framing.
You name it, they frame it.
And they provided the poster. You don't have to hold it up yet. Not yet. Just a second. They provided the poster that we're giving away right now, the game day poster signed by Myles Garrett. So we'll announce that winner here coming up in a few weeks. I believe it's the last week of October. 26th, if I'm not mistaken. Mistaken. If I'm not mistaken.
You're a mistake.
That's true. But today on the show, this is what we can look forward to. We're going to recap today's week 6 loss to the Steelers. Don't know why most of our show thought this would go any other way. Our nominees for Dog of the Week. How did Dylan Gabriel look in his second start? Did the offense get any better? Spoiler alert, no. Did the defense, kind of hold up their end of the bargain? Did they remain the #1 defense in the league? But then also, obviously we're going to talk about why we lost this game, what we can expect the rest of the season as the season from hell progresses. So I'm sure there's going to be more, but let's get things started by reminding everyone to call the Burning River Sportscast Hot Take Hotline.
Hot Take Hotline.
Don't forget to call and leave your hot takes on the Hot Take Hotline. Remember, these are hot takes.
Hot takes.
We want hot takes. We got any yet?
We got a couple.
So the number to call, 330-227-8081.
330-227-8081.
330-227-8081. Call now. We want those hot takes.
Give us your hottest takests.
If you don't have hot takes right now, there's something wrong with you. You're clearly not a real Browns fan.
The Browns are 1-5. No one has a hot take.
Maybe not a hot take. Just call us and complain. That's what we need.
Could be any take. It's just the take hotline.
It's just the take.
We take any take.
It's just called the hot take hotline, but it's just a take line.
It's just a take line. We just take it. You name it, we take it.
But okay, let's go ahead and get into the week 6 recap. We'll start with the offense.
Why?
I don't know.
We lost. It was ugly. It was bad. There's nothing to break down here. This team is awful. It's real ass, and it's going nowhere fast.
I saw some of our other podcasts that we're buddies with. They got. This is not a plug, but I'm going to give it to them anyways. They just have shirts out there that say "We're ass."
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So
yeah,
I might steal that. I don't know. We'll see. Exactly I called it out and gave them credit, but I might steal their shirt.
We should
Um,
just do a pod collab where everyone's shirts
yeah,
say we're ass. Yeah.
yeah, it was really bad. But we'll start with the offense, anyways. What little offense there was. Dylan Gabriel. If I just gave you this, if I just started with this and said he was 29 of 52, you wouldn't think we only scored 9 points.
I probably would, because how many times have we got on here after a game on Sunday and said, well, it probably wasn't in their game plan to throw the ball 45 times today. But
It is.
one time, it happens. You get into a shootout or you get behind early and you got to throw the ball a lot. When it consistently happens over and over and over again, it's not an aberration. It's the plan.
Oh,
That's
that's
the
the plan.
plan, guys.
That's the Stefanik offense. And here's the craziest part is it's always 52 attempts for like 212 yards.
That's what it was today, pretty much.
Like, why? Why? And I'm going to take this all the way back to, because we're already here. We're 2 minutes into the show and we're already here. All roads lead back to Baker. I'm going to take this back to, do you remember when Baker was here? And I said, Baker's all right, but I really wish he would just like one time throw it for 350 yards. Like 300 yards. That's all I want. It's 300 yards. But it just, we kept waiting and it never really happened. And this is me saying, hindsight being 2020, that's 100% Kevin Stefanik and not Baker Mayfield not being able to throw for 300 yards, because he just averages like 312 yards down there in Tampa Bay this year.
Well, and I don't even know that it was so much Baker. That was more the Jacoby Brissett years when we were going through a funnel of different quarterbacks, and none of them could throw for 200 yards. And we said that every week on the show. But
that's my point. Is it's the Kevin Stefanik offense. Is you throw it for 52, you throw it 52 times for 212 yards. That's what you get.
Well, yeah, I'm really sick of this narrative that sometimes Kevin Stefanski's offense works, because it just doesn't.
When?
I mean, let's go all the way back, right? Kevin Stefanski was the on the offensive coaching staff of the Minnesota Vikings from 2007 until he was the head coach of the Browns, so like 2019. Let's just think about what that offense looked like in Minnesota during that time. From 2007 until 2015, 16, you had Adrian Peterson there. So anything that was good about their offense, you could pretty much just chalk up to the fact that there was a generational talent at running back. Adrian Peterson was followed by Dalvin Kirk, who I think tore his ACL his rookie year after setting the rookie rushing record for Minnesota in like the first week. But he was a good back there for the next couple of years. Really good. Ran for like 1,400 yards a year when he was full time. During that time, also you had Kirk Cousins in his prime, who was throwing for 4,200 yards. So, also guys like Stephon Diggs played for the Minnesota Vikings. So, like, at every step of the way during Kevin's early coaching career, he was bailed out by the fact that he had tremendous players. Enter Cleveland, and you have Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield, and things were okay. That's when the offense worked the best. When you had the players that it really didn't matter what the scheme was, that they were going to win in spite of whatever the scheme is. And now you're in a position where you don't have the horses or the dogs, right? Like the players aren't here that you had at one time that are just generational talents. And all of a sudden the scheme is plain for everyone to see. Like, again, make no mistake, the fact that there was 52 passes thrown today and that amounted a whole 200 yards on 55% completions, like that's not a mistake. It's not an aberration. That is Kevin Stefanski's offense. Go back to the Baker years. That was our number one problem the coaching staff had with Baker Mayfield, was that he wasn't playing within the offense. They want that quarterback to run that West Coast system offense where it's 1, 2, 3, and that ball is coming out on that drop step. That's what Kevin Stefanski wants to run, and that's what they ran today. That's what Dylan Gabriel is good at. The quick timing passes and getting the ball out quickly. Baker Mayfield was a quarterback that was at his best when he was creating, when he was extending time in the pocket, using his feet, stiff arming Bosa. Like those are the classic Baker Mayfield plays, and that was when he was at his best. And I think that's a big part of the problem with Shedeur, because Shedeur is also a little bit that way, that he's athletic enough that he can create in the pocket and likes to dance and make things happen, and doesn't fit the typical mold of 3-step drop and that ball is out on your drop step. Like, that's the Kevin Stefanski offense. It is. Yeah. And even when he had Nick Chubb on his roster, let's not act like he was feeding Nick Chubb 25 times a game.
No, we had an entire season where we were hoping for
Nick
20
Chubb
carries,
was
and
lucky
he
to
got
get
to
12,
the
13, 15 carries a game.
yeah, that
So
was
it's not like Kevin Stefanski wants to run this ball control zone run offense. That's really not what he wants to do. He wants to run the 3-step drop timing patterns, the West Coast offense, get the ball out fast and in a hurry and at volume. This is the offense. This is as good as it gets.
Yeah, and I hate the whole Kevin Stefanski's offense is when he does those short timing routes, it's an extension of the run game. Well, if the run game's good, why do we need an extension of the run game? Why don't we just use the run game? Like I don't know. And the craziest part here is so our offensive line is just ass right now, god awful.
Yeah, really bad.
However, for some unknown reason, they seem to run block fairly well. So, I mean, Judkins is averaging like close to 5 yards of carries at like 4.4 yards or 4.6 yards or something like that a carry. And
yet in today's game where you were down a
right,
score or less most of the game, we totally abandoned the running game.
Right. So let's take a break from Stefanik because we're coming back to. We have a whole segment on him. It's all this is going to come up again, I'm sure. Dylan Gabriel, like I said, 29 and 52, 221 yards. Offensive line was awful. Gave up 6 sacks. Wide receivers were awful. More drops than I could count. One hit Isaiah Bond in the head.
And he was mad that it didn't hit him in the hands.
Son of a bitch.
Hit me in the head. We're not looking. At least hit me in the hands.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I heard a lot of chirping on our socials this week because we went hard on Kevin Stefanski last week, Kevin Stefanik, as we call him, and most people are starting to accept it. They're like, yeah, this guy's not that good. But there's still those guys that want to defend him and talk about we need stability, blah, 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 whatever. And they point to things like, oh, did Stefanski make the receivers drop the ball? Did Stefanski not block people and let them in allow the offensive line to give up 6 sacks? And I actually go back and I say, yeah, he's the coach. So this whole staff is put together by him. Like this is all his choices. So if your guys are consistently for years dropping the ball, not doing well on the offensive line outside of when Bill Callahan was here and made them phenomenal, like, yeah, that's probably partly you're partly to blame for that.
And he certainly shares some of the blame if we're to believe that him and AB are lockstep on all these decisions because they did nothing to address the offensive line in the offseason. And now we're scrambling in the beginning part of the year to try and find a tackle when you had literally months and a draft and free agency that you could have done any of these things, and we didn't. And
the
same with the wide receivers.
Yeah, the accountability and the just any sort of consequences for doing not what your job is. Like there's just nothing. It's a free for all in this locker room. Everybody's just there's the whole players. Somebody asked me today. They said, would you prefer a players coach or a coach that's going to get in their face and hold them accountable? I said you can have both. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. Look at Dan
just want
Campbell.
A good one. Yeah.
Just look at Dan Campbell up in Detroit. He's a players coach. Players all love him, but he also gets in their face and he'll tell them when they're not doing what they're supposed to do. We've got Kevin Stefanik, who the players all hate. He doesn't tell them that they have to do anything. I mean, we have more penalties year in and year out. I don't know how we got back to Stefanik again. I wanted to go away from this, but we're back. He's more penalties year in and year out than any other team in the NFL. I think we've been in the bottom 5 for like 6 years straight since he's been here. They're all pre-snap, either pre-snap or like unnecessary roughness, like things that are just accountability type plays. Like those are the ones.
The pre-snap ones are the ones that you can control, right? Things like holding are a little bit subjective, and the old adage is like holding happens on every play, just whether or not it gets called, right? So like those things,
it gets called on us every time because we're not good at it.
But Cam Robinson lining up in the neutral zone today, that's avoidable.
Yeah. James Frank joined on Facebook, by the way. He said, missed his post-game conference. Does Kevin got to do better? Do the players got to play better?
Oh, they do. Yeah.
And then, we did see this earlier. We'll touch on this in our weekly show. He said, talking about trading Batonio and Teller as well. So it's just going to get worse. Yep. We're on it. We'll be doing a whole segment on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total sense from a Brown standpoint to address the interior of the line, which actually is playing well.
Yeah.
Let's get those guys out of the lineup because our tackles are ass. Yeah, makes sense.
It's just wild. We'll come back to Stefanik again. We'll just do it in parts today. On defense, Myles Garrett was a no-show today. I don't really know what that was about, especially with all the talk before the season on adding Aaron Rodgers to the graveyard. I mean, I don't know if it's simply, and I'm not putting this too hard on Myles Garrett and saying that he didn't do anything. I mean, it's tough when the defense has to play the entire game on the field, and
well, yeah, when you get no help from
they're the only ones that have any chance of scoring points.
Yeah.
Is the defense. That's a problem. So I'm not putting it all on him. I'm just saying, like, it was a little surprising. Then the rest of the defense in my eyes it was fine.
Here's what I would tell you about Myles is it was very clear that Myles was addressed by Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers, because Myles got beat today, not out of athleticism or not being the best player on the field. He got beat by the game plan. The things that Rodgers checked in and out of were away from him. They intentionally ran plays that were designed to keep him out of the game, and it did, because Myles was hustling today. It just was oftentimes from a rollout to the right where he was having to chase Aaron Rodgers a whole long way to get there and just couldn't get home.
Yeah.
Just by the game plan itself, like, they took Myles out of the equation, which again goes back to, like, Schweisinger's nice, like, we like Mason Graham, but, like, we didn't do anything really to address adding any kind of significant pass rusher in the offseason on the other side of Myles. So
we don't do that.
we were just expecting the Myles to do it all on his own. And they basically took half the field out of play at the half the front of the line out of play, and they played around him all day to their success.
Yeah. Dewey showed up. He apologized for being late. I like that Dewey apologizes to us when he's late to our show. But he said almost feels rigged, like now coaching is bought into tanking. I mean, yeah, right? Like, it's the whole organization now. It's like
you're the number 3 overall pick right now.
Yeah. And here's, yeah, I mean, back to Myles Garrett. I'm sorry, before I get any of that. Myles Garrett. Yeah, I wasn't trying to like really diss on Myles Garrett. I just meant no show, as in, like, there was no stats, because I think he had 2 tackles and that was it.
Yeah. But
to your point, he was hustling. So,
and I think, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is in the plan to talk about at some point, but I'm going to address it now. I think if you look at
this show is a shit show, just like the Browns. So
I think if you look statistically at Aaron's numbers today, you don't look at him and go, wow, like, he was super impressive and beat the Browns. From a pure production standpoint, it was just a very average game from a quarterback. I would agree there. Aaron Rodgers beat you today with his mind. Aaron Rodgers beat you because he has 25 years of NFL experience in that football brain, and he was making great decisions. Which is
rare these days. I mean, if you've seen more than one Steelers game, that's actually rare these days.
I mean, he still has some arm talent. He put balls where they needed to be, and he was accurate most of the day. But he beat you today with his mind. That was the difference in the game.
Yeah. Next up here, special teams. Andre Smith. He hit all of his
kicks. Yeah, so, great. Good job, Andre.
He had all of our points. We're not good. And now back to, as if we haven't already gone in enough, back to the coaching issues. So we'll start with Stefanik. We touched on it a little bit, but I just want to expand. Abandoned the run way too early. I mean, what are we doing when Quinshon Judkins is averaging like 4.5 yards a carry? We get down by, what was it? Was it only 1 score, or was it 10?
You were down 9-3 at halftime, and then they scored in the third quarter. So you were down, what, 16 to 3 or 16-6. So.
But I mean, am I crazy, or did it feel like they abandoned the run in the first half?
Oh, well, they just didn't do anything in the first half. I mean, they had 35 yards on offense until the final drive under 2 minutes, and then things softened up, and we were able to throw the ball a little bit. But
that's a good offense from an offensive guru.
But in the second half, yeah, I mean, they just didn't run the ball a whole lot. It just, I mean, what did Judkins finished the game with 11 carries or something, and I think Sampson had 3 and Ford had 2, so like 15, 16 carries for your offense in a game that really you weren't out of at any point until the very end. And if you would have just scored a touchdown at any point in the game, you'd have been right there.
Yeah, so Judkins finished with 12 carries, 36 yards. So he finished at 3 yards a carry. But I mean, on the season, he's averaging over 4.5. So,
but speaking of that, the most glaring point where they abandoned the run was when they got into the red zone and had a chance to score, and they ran the ball on first down and then threw the ball the rest of the time. Why? You were on the 5-yard line. Why not run the ball? Why quit? I don't even think Quinshaw was in the game. It wasn't even on the field for that drive.
So I think they abandoned the run way too early, especially in a game that wasn't really out of reach until like fourth quarter. I mean, I guess maybe. And yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that was what I was going with next, is they abandoned the run in the red zone when they needed it the most. There's also the drops we talked about a little bit already. You want to talk about guys that you're bringing in, and we had high hopes for him too. Jerry Jeudy, like, my God, Jerry Jeudy looked phenomenal last year, but it's starting to look like all of the Denver Broncos fans that told us, yeah, you could have him.
Yeah,
we're right.
Jerry Jeudy, when he caught the ball today, actually made some nice plays in space, and you can see the Jerry Jeudy from a year ago. But
the problem is he had 13 targets and only 5 catches.
5 catches. Yeah. Well, some of those went way over his head and into the hands of defenders, but that's a whole nother story. So
yeah, was that because our quarterback's Hawaii 5'9"?
He's more like 5'7", but yeah. 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 At one point, we'll talk about Dylan in a minute, I'm sure. But
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Dylan had a tough day. Look, I will be the first to say I want to see Shedeur just out of my own morbid curiosity. I just think he's probably the most talented quarterback on this roster, and if the Browns could figure out how to use him, I think they would find some success. I'm not by any stretch saying today that Shedeur would have been the difference between them winning and losing the game. But I do want to see Shedeur. But I will give Dylan Gabriel credit for this today. He didn't throw the ball particularly well or run the offense particularly well. But some of that was drops from his receivers. Some of it was protection from the O-line, which was atrocious. What I will give the kid credit for is he took a licking and kept kicking. Like, he was getting pummeled all day long.
He gets sacked 6 times. That's not
good. He got sacked 6 times. I will give him points for toughness today, because there were a number of times that he got hit and drove into the dirt, and I thought, this is it for that guy. You don't get up for that. And he kept popping up. So good on him. I don't know what happened to the independent neurological consultants that are supposed to be on the sidelines watching for head contact for cerebral contusions when your head bounces off the ground like a basketball. I don't know what happened there, but apparently that's allowed now in today's NFL. But there was at one point too where Dylan Gabriel got sacked, and I forget who hit him, but he literally got really angry and went and pulled like shoulder pads and his helmet, like he was going to rip his helmet off, Myles Garrett style, and then thought twice about it mid move, and he was like, "I'm 5'7". This guy will probably destroy me if I."
Speaking of 5'7", we just got a message in here. Tanking would explain the 5'8" quarterback starting. And then actually, Dewey, you bring up, we're just completely riffing this show. It's a terrible show, by the way. We apologize. Dewey, you actually, that one, Kenny. Let's see Shedeur before Barry rips away this team before the trade deadline. That actually was not something that I had given too much thought of, because I'm too worried about the Browns being ass right now. But that is a very good point. That's exactly what they're going to do to Shedeur. They're going to trade everyone away, and then they're going to put him in. And
thank God for the commenters, or this show would be really terrible. You guys are killing me.
But yeah, they're gonna push Shedeur in with a whole new offensive line that's even more ass than the one we have right now.
Look, I'm not even worried about the offensive line. The Bengals took a team with no offensive line to the Super Bowl. Like, the blocking is a problem, and I get that, but as a player, you have to overcome certain things. I'm worried about Shador because I don't want to see Shador in this offense. This offense is going to make Shador look bad, just like it's making Dylan Gabriel look bad, just like it made Joe Flacco look bad, who scored more than 17 points today. Just just
See
like
how
it
that
managed to
works?
make
It's
Baker
easy.
Mayfield look bad,
Yeah.
and every other quarterback. Deshaun Watson looked bad. Deshaun Watson was throwing for 5,000 yards a season, came to Cleveland, and he's thrown for 1,000 yards in every season he's been here. Like, this offense is a fundamental problem.
Yeah. No, and you actually you talked about Joe Flacco going and scoring more than 17 points in his first game with the Bengals. Yeah, we've been talking about it for weeks now. They were up to 13.4 or whatever points per game over the last 10. Well, guess what? They just scored 9. So now they're down to like
average down.
They dropped it down to probably like 12.2 over the last 11 games. I mean, just every time we think it can't get any worse, it does. And it's because it's the offense. I don't know how many times we have to say it. It doesn't matter who you put in. We could put in Shador tomorrow. We could put in Hall of Fame talent at the offensive line. It doesn't matter. We have Hall of Fame talent on the offensive line.
Yeah, Batoni's a Hall of Famer, sure.
And it doesn't matter. It's always going to be 52 attempts for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, somewhere around there. Sometimes not even touchdowns lately. This is what it is.
It's an offense that lacks imagination, any kind of creativity, and any kind of solid form, like concepts. Like there's just no rhyme or reason to anything they're doing. And from a philosophy standpoint, again, going back to the run, like what are we doing here? What is this team's identity? And that was one of the biggest things that stuck out to me today.
We don't have an identity.
Is that this team has zero identity. And when you think about Pittsburgh rivalry week, states that are next to each other in division, there was a team that showed up today that wanted to punch the other team in the mouth, and it wasn't the Browns. I don't, look, we're a long day from the heyday of the rivalry in the 70s and the 80s, but Mike Tomlin, some of the guys in that locker room in Pittsburgh, I can tell you that they still care. They still think it's a rivalry, and those guys came out today and wanted to punch every single person on our team in the mouth. And they played with an intensity that matched the rivalry, and the Cleveland Browns looked like they were just playing in any other game that they've ever played in, which, look, I understand you have to compartmentalize some of that, and you got to be able to manage your emotions and things, but this is a rivalry game, and it should have a different type of feel to it. That's why these guys were jawing at each other after plays. That's why Schlesinger was getting bumped in the middle of celebrations. That's why Jalen Ramsey was pointing at Kevin Stefanski, telling him, your quarterback sucks. Put in the other guy.
Sorry, I laughed mid rambling thought of yours that was angry because 52 attempts from a QB that can't ride a Six Flags ride. and he said
can't ride a Six Flags ride.
And he said leave him in London, leave Stefanski in London naked and afraid. I'll have you know, Dewey, that is Kenny Thunder's favorite TV show of all time.
I do love Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be naked and afraid.
Yeah, it's just terrible. And so I'm going to stand by this. I've said it multiple times this year. I even got shit on it on our hot take hotline about saying I'm calling for Jim Schwartz to take over as interim head coach. And I'm calling for it again because, like, at what point do we need a vote to just, like, the whole organization stand up, vote of no confidence, Kevin Stefanski's out? Like, you said it. I won't get there. That's my final thought for this week. I'll save that. But yeah, it's bad. It's to a point of no return.
Yeah,
like how you come back from this.
There's zero hope for this team. Even at 1-5, truthfully, you're at 1-5, and the schedule does soften up a bit here. And I know Pittsburgh is 4-1, but honestly, the rest of the division is not very good. And Pittsburgh, I will tell you that though they came out today and were fired up and treated it like a rivalry game, they aren't a very good football team. That's not a team that is going to be able to sustain the way they're playing all year long and going to win 12 or 13 games. If they do, I would be flabbergasted. I would be shocked because they're just not that talented overall. And they're not playing head over heels. Like, they just played a bad Browns team today. And, that's a game that was very winnable for this team if you could have scored any points at all on offense.
James over on Facebook just said the offense identifies as poop. I mean, the division's still wide open, even with Pittsburgh being this far out ahead. I mean, they're not a good football team. I guarantee you they're going to be the same thing. At the end of the season, Steelers fans are all going to be calling for Mike Tomlin to be fired because they're going to end up with a good record because the division is ass this year with Lamar being hurt and the Browns suck and the Bengals suck.
Burrow being hurt.
Yeah, like the division's ass. So they're going to win a bunch of games, most of them against the division. Then they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs, and everybody's going to be calling for Mike Tomlin to get fired again. And yeah, it's sad when we can't even compete with the rest of our division, who is also ass.
No, this is a year you should be taking advantage of down teams in the league. Like we should be hanging a division banner just by default this year, just by showing up. And you're not even close. You're not even in the same stratosphere.
Yeah. And so, I mean, in case anyone can't tell, I mean, we're pretty fed up. I'll be honest with everybody out there watching. Before the show, I got on and I said, let's make this a quick one. So
I just think like we go back to last year and we said at the end of that year, that was the lowest that we've been as Browns fans. It felt hopeless. It felt there was a lot of just despair, a lot of negative emotion over the way that season went and the way things unfolded and what the prospects were for the future. And we're in the future now. And
what's that saying? I wish you knew the good old times when you were in that. Like last year was the good old times
before they left. Yeah. I mean, we are in the thick of it now, and it's not going to get better. Like this team might score more than 17 points a couple times this year, but that will be the aberration to the rule. This team is just not going to score a lot of points this year, and this defense is going to play a lot. And it was interesting because we have been talking about the defense a lot this year and how well they've done and, their rankings and everything. What made sense finally today, the Bone Man skeleton key to victory was unlocked on the broadcast because they brought up the fact that the Browns are like dead last in the NFL of red zone defense. So I was like, that finally makes sense. They can't run on us. They can't pass on us. But when they get in the red zone, we always let them score.
Which is basically every time the offense turns the ball over.
True.
Yeah. So, just to round this out too, in case there wasn't enough bad news, Njoku, Conklin, Larvadane, however you say his last name,
Larvadane.
All hurt today. So that's good.
Yeah, Njoku, Conklin, Larvadane, Tryon Shoyinka, and there was another one. Who was the other one? We're missing one.
Does it matter?
Who was it?
It doesn't matter.
I don't remember now.
I don't care. I mean, this game was just really bad all the way around. And I don't mean like, I know that's a lack of analysis. There's not this, this whole episode is not analysis heavy. Our whole show, to be honest with you, is analysis heavy. Although we go into a lot of analytics, BRS, HBO, ABC.
Well, you speak of analytics, like what does D Podesta do all day, right? Because if your quarterback throws for 52, throws about 52 times for 200 yards, and you rush for 50 yards collectively as an offense, like what does the guy that breaks down the numbers even say? I could do some analytics if you had some numbers. Like maybe that's why he's stayed employed for so long. There's no analytics to do.
He's just waiting back to the team. He's like, if they would give me something.
He's waiting on some statistics and some numbers to crunch because there hasn't been any. Yeah. I would love to do some analytics, but there aren't any numbers. I mean, seriously, what is the prescription there? 52 attempts, 200 yards, no touchdowns. Complete more passes?
I don't know.
Speaking of Dylan, I don't know. Are you trying to wrap the show? It sounds like you're trying to wrap the show up.
Yeah, I'm just tired. I'm just that's the best way to hold on. Let me just talk here for a second. That's the best way to explain me as a Cleveland Browns fan right now is I'm just tired. Like, you have a young kid, Kenny. So I know you get it. Like, you're running around after them, you chase them. It's you love them so much, but at the end of the day, you're just tired. And that's where I'm at right now. I love the Browns. I do. I want them to win. I want them to do well. I want them to be everything that we hope they can be, but I'm just tired.
And they're terribly boring to watch. Terribly boring.
Makes you even more tired. That causes those daytime naps that the dads have.
Yeah. Doze off just in the middle of the game for a minute.
You're like, oh, I woke up. Don't worry. They still got 3.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is we went 3 and out on the last possession, so nothing happened.
Yeah.
I did just want to address Dylan Gabriel's performance one more time because um, statistically, the numbers, they weren't great, but you don't go, wow, that was a really bad performance. I do think we should at least point out the fact that there were 6 balls in the hands of Pittsburgh defenders today that they inexplicably dropped. So if half of those get caught, you look at that stat line and you go,
This
wow,
guy's
this
the
was
worst
actually
quarterback
a
that ever
really
lived.
bad day. So he was very close to having an all-time worst type of day, but had a number of balls that got bobbled and dropped and things. So he was very fortunate in that regard, in addition to just being crushed all day long. So just a bad day. But again, like, I think today was honestly like, that was his, I don't want to write a guy off after 2 weeks, right? A lot can change and you can develop, but like, this is exactly what I expected out of Dylan Gabriel. This was the ceiling I had in my mind for him. Was, if you gave that guy 52 attempts in a game, this is the kind of day that he would have. I don't expect anything different. Now, he can prove me wrong and he can go out and maybe he's the next Drew Brees. But this feels like his ceiling to me, which is, he's a very below average NFL talent that can probably make a living as a backup and can spot play and can keep a season afloat for a few games if he needs to. But he's not an everyday starter in the league, and he's probably never going to be.
Yeah. Two things. One, in order to be Drew Brees, he'd have to grow like 3 inches. Uh, and two, it's just a really good thing that we have a supercomputer out there to throw the ball to the other team 6 times.
He processes information really quickly. He was like, "This hurts going down." Oh.
He processes information so quickly that he was like, "There's the defender." Threw it right at him.
There goes my femur.
Threw it right at him. He said, "Here you go. Take it the other way." He dropped it.
Yeah, and the height does still continue to be a problem. There were air-milled balls. There were a few balls. There were a few balls where he really hung guys out to dry. I mean, he was throwing balls in traffic today and got Jerry Jeudy clobbered a bit, Harold Fannin clobbered a bit, to the point where by the end of the game, those guys were pretty, alligator army going into.
Yeah, you know what helps a
some
receiver catch the ball is if you get him killed.
Yeah.
So when you're having drop issues on your team and you just hang them out to dry, that's really
throw the ball in the most dangerous place possible.
Yeah. Scariest environment imaginable. That's all you had to say. Scariest environment imaginable.
Yeah. We did get a penalty on Dylan Gabriel today, though, because the defensive player tried to tackle him and could only tackle his head.
Is that the strategy? Let's take the shortest guy and then they'll only tackle his head.
They literally can't get low enough to tackle him. They only can hit him in the head. So we did get 15 yards out of that today, which was a bonus.
That's good. Silver linings. Yeah, that's what we like here. Speaking of silver linings, let's do our nominees for Burning River Sportscast Dog of the Week. Wow. Bone Man sent his in. Bone Man's got Andre Schmidt. Makes sense. The only one that scored points. Sure. I'm going to go with Devin Bush because I can't, in my right mind, go with somebody on the offense, and Devin Bush had the most tackles. That's my argument.
He did try to outrun a blitzing cornerback today. Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
Dewey likes our Armageddon quote.
It was like watching scariest environment imaginable.
Yeah.
200 degrees in the sunlight, minus 200 degrees in the shade. It was like watching a Pee-wee football game, like where the adults are playing with the kids.
Like, Dylan Gabriel was the kid.
And he was the kid and just got completely hot.
Like the mascot games at halftime where he's just like
he tucked that ball and thought, I'm going to get away. And no sooner did he take another step, he was on the ground.
Kenny, who's your Dog of the Week nominee?
Oh, man. This was hard because there was just nobody. I mean, I guess if I have to pick somebody, I'll go Harold Fannin because he caught the majority of the balls today, 7 for 80 yards or something. So
you love picking the offense when they score 9 points.
Well, my Dog of the Week was going to be Devin Bush. When I was talking about the rivalry earlier, he was one of the guys. He was one of the guys that that I did thought played with some fire and intensity today, Devin Bush, and that may not even have been rivalry based. It may have been just the fact that he used to play in Pittsburgh, and so he had some chip on his shoulder today. But he looked like a man on a mission, and it was ruthless aggression this afternoon.
Yeah,
so
you're talking about Harold Fannin Jr. too. I just want to throw this out there. I think I don't think those are idle threats, for lack of a better word, that Njoku's gonna get traded at the deadline. I think that's happening with Harold Fannin Jr. playing like he has so far. With him playing like he has so far, I think David Njoku's even if we weren't bad this year, David Njoku's days would be numbered.
Well, look, I mean, if you're Andrew Berry right now watching this football team, you got to be looking at it going, we got a lot of work to do.
And Njoku's a guy too that he's good enough that he can put one of those contenders over the top with another offensive weapon.
Yeah, I don't think Njoku would get moved because he's not good here. He's not a good player.
It's just because
he would get moved. I would think he would get moved because you might be able to get some reasonable draft capital for him. You might be able to get a 4th round or a 3rd rounder somewhere for a guy like Njoku for a team that needed a tight end. So, but I don't disagree with that. I said at the beginning of the year that I thought Harold Fannin could be what we thought Njoku was always going to be. Yeah. And so far this year, I mean, he's been very productive as a young guy. So I wouldn't have any problem if they did move Njoku. I like Njoku. There's no hard feelings against Njoku. I'd love Njoku. I'd love all these guys to be Browns for the rest of their career, but just not realistic. It's not realistic in the business sense of what they do. And if I
don't want Kevin Stefanski to be a Brown for the rest of his career.
No. He's been a Brown too long already.
Yeah.
But I could see them moving him, and I think that's a move that makes total sense right now.
Yeah. I could probably do without defensive tackle that hasn't played all year.
Mike Hall?
Yeah, I could do without Mike Hall too. He can go. I don't need him.
I don't know what you're going to get for him. A 6th or a 7th, maybe.
Yeah, we'll probably have to pay them.
Compensatory pick.
But yeah, final thoughts, Kenny?
Oh, we're already to the end?
Yeah, we're there. Yeah, I mean, did you have anything else to add? This was a complete shit show.
I don't know. Yeah, my final thought is just give me one good reason why Kevin Stefanski should be around next year other than stability of the organization. Give me one good reason. What does he do exceptionally well? Because it's not calling plays. It's not motivating players. It's not managing the clock. There was a time in our lives that I can remember going back to where Kevin Stefanski was the bee's knees at scripting the first 10 plays of the game. And
I'll give him that. It was
down
awesome.
The field.
We always
marched down the field on the first drive, and we looked like we were a juggernaut. But even that is gone from this offense to where even your scripted plays don't look that great. So what does he do exceptionally? He's not a gifted communicator. We spend all week reading through the tea leaves to try and figure out what the hell you're trying to say. The only thing you're willing to repeat ad nauseum is, I got to get better. The team got to get better. We collectively got to get better.
And we will get better.
Watch the tape, and we will get better.
Listen, I don't know how long I'm going to be waiting for them to get better.
Give me one good reason why he should be back next year. That's my
Put that one up. Put that one up. If Stefanski doesn't resign by tomorrow morning, he should be forced to start at QB until we score 20 plus points. He would cease to be alive long before then. We ain't scoring 20 points with him. Or anybody in this offense for that matter. It's just terrible. That's why we're at final thoughts, Kenny, because
this young supple bro.
Yeah. That's your final thought? One good reason.
Yeah, just give me one good reason. I would love for anyone to give me one damn reason why that man should be gainfully employed by the Cleveland Browns going into next year.
But he won 2 Coach of the Years.
That's not a good reason. That's in the past. Tell me what he's gonna do.
But it's the players.
Do we know that? Do we know that for certain?
I'm just telling you all the arguments we get online.
I think if you ask the players, every player on that roster, just like they come out after the game right now and they say, how did you think Dylan Gabriel did today? We all know that he threw for 200 yards on 52 passes. He didn't play well, but they all have to say, He's a competitor. He's a tough kid. Runs the offense. Did what he was asked. Like, they're not going to come out right and say he sucks. So you can't just ask Myles Garrett, do you like Kevin Stefanski, and expect that you're going to get some kind of truthful answer. You won't know that until years after this guy is gone.
Yeah. My final thought, you mentioned, this is where I stopped myself from saying it earlier because I almost said it mid show, but you mentioned last week, or actually it was earlier this week in our show opening for Thursday's show. You said, once you lose the fan base, the locker room usually follows pretty quickly. And I will say this, it sure as hell looked that way this year or today. I mean, I'm sorry. It sure as hell looked that way today because that team, you mentioned it earlier, is a rivalry game. Absolutely no heart. Nobody seemed like they were in it at all. Everybody's just going through the motions. The other team gets fired up. Schwesinger chases somebody down, tackles him. The other team comes in and hits him. Much backlash? No, we just kind of let it happen. We're just like, okay.
Well, right. That should have been a fist fight on the field.
Yeah,
when they shoved him, there should have been some retaliation. I will take the 15-yard penalty. Won a game? Yeah. I mean, you gotta control it, you gotta manage it. But won a game to let us know you still have a pulse? Damn right, I'll take that.
Yeah. And so the whole game, just body language was bad. The whole look throughout was bad. And I don't know if it's finally the team is starting to realize internally, and I'm talking mostly players, like, we don't have the guy. This guy cannot lead us where we need to go. So yeah, I mean, you said the locker room's usually not far behind. A whole week of reading what all of us fans had to say. Some of them probably tuned in the Burning River Sportscast and went back 4 years and said, oh, these guys have been saying Stefanski isn't the answer since year 2. But, those guys are idiots. They're fucking crazy. And they probably spent all week looking at that stuff and realized today, after scoring 9 points, like, yeah, they got a point. So that's my final thought is we don't have to wait any longer. He's lost the locker room. It's gone. So
it sure looks that way, which I wouldn't be surprised, right? I mean, again, you couldn't figure it out with Baker Mayfield, who completed 75% of his passes today and 2 touchdowns and is 5-1 and is on an MVP trajectory this year.
If only we had a guy like that.
I don't know what hope there is that you're going to figure it out with somebody else.
Yeah, good call, Dewey. We definitely should have not let Mike Vrabel get out of here. I would have fired Kevin Stefanski mid-season last year just to be like, we can't let this guy go.
I just would have fired him when they fired Vrabel and said, you're our new head coach.
Yeah. But with that, let's stop beating the dead horse that is Kevin Stefanik. Let me remind you to call. Well, you got something?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
What?
You're good. Go ahead.
Let me remind everybody to call the Burning River Sportscast Hot Take Hotline. Don't forget to call your hot takes on the Hot Take Hotline. Look, Dewey, our other friend in the chats here, our other few friends here, these are all great. We love that you guys leave comments for us, but we also
call us.
Would like to hear from you, on our Hot Take Hotline. We want to put you on the air. We want to talk about your hot takes. We want to get fired up with you. So 330-227-8081.
330-227-8081.
330-227-8081.
81. Call us or we'll kick you in the jimmies.
Right in the jimmies. Be sure to check out our gear, www.thetappingmedia.com/shop. And that'll do it for us. Kenny, what can we expect this week?
What can we expect this week? So we'll have our normal show out Thursday. I know we've been back and forth on Thursday, Friday a little bit this season because we've had some travel plans we've had to accommodate. So but we will be out on Thursday this week previewing the Week 7 game against the Dolphins, who were in a shootout today. So maybe the schedule's not as soft as we think.
Any team that can actually be in a shootout is probably better than the Browns.
Yeah, they scored like 26 or 27 points today. Yep. So that's more than it's going to take to beat the Browns. Another Browns backer interview, TBD, and then all the other things you listen to the Burning River Sportscast for, like hearing the same takes over and over and over and over again. Also this week, are you
going to read that whole thing?
No, I guess not. Am I not supposed to?
No, just read it. Just read it verbatim.
Okay. Verbatim. Also this week, I get punished for losing King of the North for the 3rd consecutive season. 3 for 3. I am one pathetic loser. John Hughes is going to hit me a few times. Full pads. I might die. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I like that
Did
you
get
just
your
said,
pound of flesh.
I am one pathetic loser, you say. Yeah, highlight before we sign out here, highlight Dewey's James Bond reference, and this guy that's a Panthers fan that is giving us props. Did Meow Mix, after Meow Mix quit, did you switch over to us? Is that what happened here?
Yeah, poor Meow Mix guys. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, that's piss poor job out of the. He's probably on Meow Mix. He's like, that was my podcast.
He is Meow Mix. Sorry, bro.
But don't forget to check us out on social media. Tapin Media is on Facebook, X, and Instagram at the Tapin Media. And Burning River Sportscast, that's this podcast, is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Burning River Sportscast, and on X at Burning River Pod. You can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Podcast Castro, Good Pods, where we are #1 ranked football podcast, and so many more. And please leave those reviews on your podcast app of choice. Help us continue to grow and keep being the best damn Cleveland Browns pod in the land.
Do you want to talk about our giveaway, or are we just going to skip that tonight?
I did skip it. We should just throw it out there. I completely missed it in the notes.
That's what I was stopping you for earlier, but I thought maybe you would hit it down and run down at the end. But
I didn't. We're doing a giveaway of a Myles Garrett game day poster. I mentioned it for a second, then told you not to hold up the poster. So if you haven't heard, second giveaway of the season, this time in partnership with Primetime Sports and Framing, autographed Myles Garrett game day poster. Winner will be chosen from following the entry directions on our social media posts, and you can earn 50 bonus entries by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Burning River Sportscast. Don't have a YouTube account?
Make one.
Okay, it takes about 5 minutes. Entry period ends 10:26, about an hour before kickoff, and we will announce the winner on our live show that evening. That's it.
That's it.
Missing the giveaway. That sounds like a problem.
Don't just be a part of the problem. Be the whole damn problem.
And only you can prevent river fires. Burning River Sportscast.
Burning River Sportscast.
Out.
Burning Rivers.
Good night, Cleveland.
Good night, Cleveland.
Good night, Akron.